On the 12th of December 2021, a historical race was about to occur. Two drivers on exactly the same amount of points, and one race to find out who the winner will be. However, an interference changed the dynamic of the race and chose the winner. Lewis Hamilton, aka Mr. Hammer Time, is a 7-time world champion. Arguably has the best rookie season, most pole positions, most wins, a night honor. Since his swap to Mercedes, he has shown to be the undisputed GOAT in Formula 1 hybrid era. Max Verstappen, aka Mad Max, is the youngest driver to drive an F1 car, youngest driver to win in F1, youngest driver to get a podium. He outlasted 3 different teammates. A driver who has shown talent out of this world. And 2021 was the season where we finally see both of them go at it. The competition was fierce, with both of them going toe to toe in every track. Tracks such as Bahrain, Spain, Azerbaijan, France, Monza, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia is where we saw glimpses of pure racing competition. On the left, we have the Mercedes car, and on the right, we have the Red Bull car. Overall, their stats are pretty much the same. Sometimes the car can make or break a season, but in this instance, it's the track. Now, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix has given us the best races, but also the worst races in Formula 1. And it has just been gifted a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to host the deciding race. So, to improve the racing, they decided to change the track. Changing turns 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13 and 14 into smooth corners to increase overtaking. And comparing it to the old version, you can see their reasons as to why they changed the track. So how does this affect Lewis and Max? Well, in 2020, Max was able to win due to their car being suited for the track. Even though on paper the cars technically have the same stats, they are completely different in aerodynamics and driving styles. For example, we didn't touch about the rake of the car, the length and the shape of the car, the front and back wings, the cooling differences in the car, tyre management, and a metric ton of information. To make it quite simple, one car is good at straights and high-speed corners, and the other one is good at cornering at slow and medium speeds. With the track in mind, let's break it down into 3 sectors and evaluate where each car gains the advantage. Sector 1 consists of slow and medium corners favouring towards Red Bull. Sector 2 consists of 2 long straights and 2 corners naturally favouring the Mercedes in this sector. And finally in Sector 3, it's just more slow and medium corners again, favouring Red Bull. In conclusion, Red Bull have a higher chance of winning. But this doesn't mean it's the end of Mercedes. We can use the Brazilian Grand Prix as a case study in this situation. Sao Paulo Grand Prix is known to be a Red Bull dominated track, yet Mercedes were able to win it in 2020 from being all the way back down to 20th. So naturally we can't rule out Mercedes. The FIA, which stands for the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile. They are the ones who are responsible for keeping the rules in F1 up to date and create a system to make sure that the rules are enforced. That system is the F1 stewards. Now there are multiple jobs within the system, but we're going to be focusing on the race director in this particular case. So the race director has the ultimate authority on the conduct of the practice, qualification sessions and the race. Essentially for any yellow flags, red flags, virtual safety car and track limits, they are the ones to decide where and when they should be enforced. And for this season, Michael Massey was a race director. Due to his inconsistent nature, he plays a big factor in this final race. It's December the 13th, and the fateful race between Max and Lewis was about to begin. On lap 1, Hamilton got a better start and got ahead of Max. However, in turn 6, Verstappen went for a dive bomb, causing Lewis to cut the corner. Due to the corner cut, Lewis was able to get an extra second ahead of Verstappen. As a result, Red Bull complained.
Will they see the difference?
At the apex,
Jonathan,
stays on the track.
Jonathan, he's forced him out there. That's why we asked him to give back
Lewis
all of
has
the
left
advantage.
the track, and
Problems?
It's lap 20 and the order is Perez, Hamilton and Verstappen. With Hamilton just behind Perez with a 2-second gap and Verstappen behind Hamilton with an 8-second gap, Lewis was drawing up to Perez rapidly. But as Perez was the Red Bull second driver, he would mount the best defense of his racing career, earning him the nickname the Mexican Minister of Defense.
Hold on, Lewis.
For one entire lap, Perez held Lewis at bay, allowing Verstappen to close the gap from 8 seconds to just 1 second behind. Though it was a magnificent effort from Checo, Max could not keep up with Lewis's pace and slowly started to drop back. On lap 36, Giovinazzi had a hydraulic issue in his car, forcing him to stop just before turn 10, causing a virtual safety car during that period. Max's team decided to pit onto brand new hards, putting him further away from Lewis from 8 seconds down to 20 plus seconds. On lap 53, Nicholas Latifi lost the car and crashed on turn 14, bringing out the safety car. Exactly what Mercedes didn't want. With the safety car coming out, Mercedes strategists opted for Lewis to stay out instead of pitting, to make sure they stay in front of Max. Max decided to pit again to softs, but as a result was behind 5 lapped cars. 2 more laps in this race. Suddenly, an official announcement was made by the FIA. Lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake. This actually benefited Lewis. The reason this benefits Lewis is because Max needs to get past 5 lapped cars, significantly reducing his chances of overtaking. As you can imagine, Red Bull did not take this lightly and complained to the FIA about this decision. On lap 57, the FIA changed their decision and allowed lapped cars to overtake the safety car. With the sudden change of decision to allow 5 cars to overtake, the title was slowly slipping through Hamilton's hands and right onto Verstappen's. Finally, on the last lap, Hamilton had to defend against Verstappen on brand new softs. After the race, Mercedes filed for 2 protests towards the Motorsport World Council, Article 48.8 and Article 48.12. Let's first explain what those articles are. With Article 48.8, the rule explains that during the safety car period, no cars can overtake, and Article 48.12 goes into the details of explaining how the safety car procedure works when lapped cars are thrown into the mix. The procedure is quite simple. Once there is a safety car, lapped cars will have to overtake the leading cars and the safety car, drive around the track, catch up to the pack, and once they've caught up, they will start racing once the safety car is withdrawn. So what exactly went wrong? So, for Article 48.8, Mercedes argued that Max overtook Lewis during the safety car period before the final lap. The FIA quickly rebutted the protest, explaining that both Max and Lewis were braking accelerating erratically. They also added that at the end, Max was behind Lewis before they crossed the line. The council agreed with the FIA and dismissed Mercedes' first protest. However, for Article 48.12, the FIA broke multiple rules. In every case in Formula 1, all lapped cars are allowed to overtake. However, in this case, only lapped cars between Max and Lewis was allowed. A case we have never seen in F1 until today. The second rule was that lapped cars need to be given time to catch up to the pack. However, they were not given adequate time and the race continued without them. Mercedes weren't happy with how the procedure went and asked if they can use the conclusion of the previous lap to fix their mistakes. The FIA disagreed with their last point, as that essentially shortens the race and is not appropriate. For the cases regarding about the safety car, they refer to Article 15.3. As mentioned before, it goes over the authority of the race director. The race director having complete control over the practice, qualifying, race, and the most important one, the use of the safety car. Though the FIA did acknowledge they didn't apply the article properly, they argued that the next article, Article 48.13 overrides it. This article basically states that the moment this message pops up, it is a mandatory thing to withdraw the safety car. Now, the council agreed with the FIA and dismissed the case, but never elaborated in the report regarding about the unlapping of certain cars. However, they will most likely refer back to Article 15.3 in this case. Onto the topic of the title. How does this one race change F1? After the race, the FIA did acknowledge their mistakes and decided to change the rules. First, breaking the responsibilities of the race director, so they are not overwhelmed again. The second is they also took away the communication between the team principals and the FIA, so the situations with Horner and Toto with the FIA will never happen again. Third, they changed the safety car procedure, making it more clear so that stewards, team principals, and drivers have a better understanding of it. And finally, they added their own version of VAR. But the rules weren't the only thing that was changed. It changed people's perspective in Formula 1.
Instead, we had a one-lap shootout to the fury of Hamilton's Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff. He told the race director, "You need to reinstate the lap before, that's not right." To which Michael Masi replied, "Toto, it's called a motor race, okay?" Lewis Hamilton also said on race radio, "This has been manipulated." That's rejected by the F1 authorities.
A question that many people agreed with and disagreed, but for the simple answer, yes. If Masi had followed the rules properly, the race would have ended under a safety car, giving Lewis Hamilton the win. The only case where this might go both ways was if the lapped cars weren't allowed to overtake, forcing Max to overtake 5 lapped cars. However, this would have significantly reduced his chances of overtaking Lewis. The only times Max would have won was if the rules were broken, and that's what happened. But why did this happen in the first place? Well, there are 2 reasons why this situation could have occurred. The first is pressure. Michael Masi has been a race director for 3 years and was only given a position because the previous race director, Charlie Whitens, has passed away. Charlie Whitens has been a race director from 1997 to 2018, and he was exceptional at his role. With that being said, not only he has to overlook the biggest race in this generation of Formula 1, he has Christian and Toto influencing him whenever they get the chance. The second reason is entertainment. Since the takeover of Liberty Media and the creation of Drive to Survive, fans want entertainment and drama. This is no exception for Masi as well. He had the option to end it under a safety car or break some rules for a one-lap banger for the fans. I'll let you guys decide on which one seems more reasonable. The problem is Masi signed an NDA and we'll never know why he did it. This shouldn't take away the season altogether. 2021 was a sight to behold. Watching Max and Lewis fight at every track is one thing, but for them to be so ahead of third by 20 seconds is a whole nother level. Although it was an amazing season, the way that it ended wasn't ideal. Thanks for watching, and I hope you had a great time watching my first video. Many thanks.